Ooh, love to rest with you. I later this um, lunchtime I have an appointment with a woman who knows a lot about yeah, finding a new partner. Sounds a bit strange, but she's quite known in Holland. And I met somebody the end of November, and it was an opening experience. I was not really in love, but yeah, it felt healing, and yeah, I like to open up more, so to speak, in that area. And um, every time it helps to be here and to yeah, speak things or to feel silence coming. And because of the silence, it makes it harder to speak. I would also love your blessings in finding um, yeah, some of my small jobs have fallen away, and I love some more volunteer-like work or something in which to feel useful. And now I love to rest with you.
I don't really know how to give blessings.
What too?
I don't know how to give blessings. I just like to keep quiet, actually.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to speak?
What was before all this is that I read about this, the silence of the heart again, and yeah, how to be there more, or how to make that deeper. It's underneath or before. Wow. And ask your blessings for that is more. Thank you.
When Michael is, you saw this too there.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Resting, please. What a blessing. Thank you.
Frank. Hello. Hi, Frank. on my side, just beautiful, gentle, subtle resting and seeing as we rest. Find it beautiful. So
Okay. Somehow feels completely different from my side. There was, I realized that there is the tendency to be somehow very hard to myself, and during the night it happens that I suddenly wake up and there's some things about guilt and I did do something wrong, and I think it's somehow like religious stuff. I did something wrong and so I'm in kind of a hell, or I don't know.
so in this moment, just now, is that hardness happening?
Not right now.
No, yeah. So just to explore that hardness when it happens, is it you doing it? Is it an unconscious pattern happening?
Yeah, it seems like that I'm doing it, but it happens by itself.
It happens by itself, yeah. Because if there was a choice, you would not do that because it's not pleasant. It's unpleasant. So in the recognition that it happens by itself, we can play a little bit and see, okay, what's happening? It serves some function, that being hard on ourselves. I'm sure many people know that habit, you could say. Even though it's not happening now, it's interesting. Somehow this recurring habit that comes up by itself. So it can be interesting just to look, what's its function? Is it trying to hurt us? Is it trying to help us? What is it?
It's trying to help us, to prevent us from something.
Okay, cool. So it's trying to help. And then now we're just discerning, does it actually help?
No, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. Okay,
It does
cool.
the complete opposite.
It does the opposite. Okay, so it's good to see. And then the moment like that activity comes up, it feels like there's something wrong. So it kind of proves that it's possible that there could be something wrong. So it provides its own momentum for continuing to prevent us from wrongness, so to speak. But then for me, the question is if you can see it doesn't help, is it necessary or useful? I mean, just somewhere your system learned it, who knows? Can go back generations, can be, implicit instruction from your mother or your father or both, or your culture, whatever it is, but just to see, okay, somewhere this, like that habit or that filter got picked up. And once it starts to play, then, it's like the hardness comes and the wanting to understand it or fix it or change it. And then you're in that loop, in that reality, in that whole vortex, so to speak. But just to see it for what it is, it's an unconscious mechanism that's trying to help us, and it doesn't. So if it comes, you just, that's that. I know what it is. Don't need to do that again.
Mm. Yeah, now it feels more gentle.
Mm.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thanks.
Hi.
My feet. Just, if it's interesting, gently notice wherever there's any effort. Not that effort's wrong or anything like that, just to notice it, just to,
Well,
there's,
mental activity now and then,
okay.
effort.
Mhm.
But at the moment, it's more like again and again coming back to the thought, or the thought appearing again and again. What a miracle, all these projections.
Yeah.
And then poof, it's all gone and nothing. What a miracle. This is kind of work or labor or effort.
Yeah.
Other,
And
I
so,
don't.
it's like there can be just in my view, there can be different subtleties of effort. There can be like somehow in the body, some sense of effort, and then there can be like a thought form of doing it right, or like, so there can be subtleties of effort that show up, and it's just useful in my view to notice them, and not anything right or wrong with it, but just as they become conscious, and you can check in and see.
Yeah, it's the thought form is not noticed precisely. I guess it's underlying running or pattern to do it right, to get on, to be on a way, and all that nonsense, and
so it's good just to see how that like to simply be here doesn't require any effort. But then, we have habits and conditionings of putting pressure on ourselves in some way or another.
Yeah.
And again, it's not something we would do consciously, but unconsciously,
Yeah, it's amazing.
it can play. So it's just like, for me, it's interesting to notice where
there's a kind of contraction in the solar plexus. Yeah.
Beautiful. So then
That's
just a gentle noticing there, and who knows where that comes from. But then just simply And the solar plexus would be being accepted, being belonging, just any old energetic imprints around. That, and just, in fact, we just resting with it. Okay, so somewhere there's that imprint or that.
Yeah, it's also around being held. This is, I guess, system noticing being held.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like just around what we're talking about, when you tune into your ancestry, can you find it in either your father or your mother or both?
Being held in life?
Not being held. Make that effort, that putting pressure on themselves.
Yeah. Especially my mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just and so some way, your system got imprinted with that by your mother. Not out of any bad intention, just that was the way her nervous system was organized. And, so now you're at a stage of life where you can differentiate from, see that your system is different than your mom's system. It doesn't need to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good idea. Yeah.
And then in your perception, how did your dad relate to that pattern playing in your mom of wanting to be accepted or wanting to belong? How did his system respond to that?
Was not easy for his system to meet that, to
So
hold.
So how did he respond?
He retreated.
He retreated, okay.
Yeah.
So
Step back.
some way that was an imprint for your system of retreating. Just to see that you're not your dad's system and that habit to retreat.
No, thanks.
Yeah, well, just to see it, just to see
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Funny to have both those programs, wanting to be accepted and retreating. And in a way they fit together.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'd have no idea how many generations back those patterns go, we just don't know. But,
It goes back.
yeah.
It's you said wanting to be accepted. It feels all the
Wanting to belong.
Yeah, wanting to belong, wanting to be held. This is my kind of interpretation.
Yeah.
Wanting to be held in life. That was the message of my mother. Needing and not finding it.
Yeah.
anyways.
And I'm sure many people can find some, some aspect of that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And, with anything like that, there would be an emotional component. There would be then some some habit around the emotions, some way of dealing with the emotions. Yeah, I mean, it's always layers,
Yeah, it was a thick jungle in my family. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
Cool features.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah. The trend. Hiya, trend.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. I just came up to when I'm here in this with you and also other times. It's just to be here and just see what is here and just feel what is here, and that's perfect, and that's what you had with feet as well. And then there's a crew of householding people, or I don't know the right word, but like as if the mind is always looking for something that needs to be done or needs to be fixed, or where's a problem, where might be a problem, and it feels like sitting there and having these guys around all trying to fix things, and
So let's make a distinction there. It's like, because in some ways in this love affair with, calling it a love affair, just, being alive, being here, and recognizing that there's been conditioning, there's been traumas, there's been, and that information, when it's in the unconscious, it just works in the background, yeah? Usually we're so familiar with it, it doesn't even show up in our radar, and then maybe it shows up in like some kind of personality traits that repeat, or it shows up in physicality, like some kind of physical challenge, something that's going on. So in some ways, it's not like looking for something wrong. It's just this capacity to very finely notice and be present. And we can contextualize it like, for the benefit of all beings, because whatever's playing in us is, certainly universal. It's not personal, so to speak. It always ends up with a sense of identification, which makes it seem very personal, but yeah, it happens always.
And yeah, it's a gift to see it and to be. And it's funny. I mean, sometimes I call it these guys, or the mind that wants to help, or also quiets down and is less active and just rests as well in a way. I don't know how and why, but
yeah. So that pattern, that pattern of looking for what needs to be fixed, that's an interesting pattern too, yeah. And again, nothing right about it, nothing wrong about it, but it's just interesting that somewhere that was learned, or somehow that's a, it's a condition or trauma-based activity.
yeah, brings with it a sense of insecurity. There might be something overlooked.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, in a way, it has a function as well. I mean, the fear is not needed around it, but of course, it's usual. It's necessary, or it's helpful to check every now and then if there is something to be done. That's no problem with it, but it's rather the attitude around it,
Exactly.
the intention.
Yeah. Where it puts a pressure inside, an internal pressure. And then from that, some kind of identity evolves, and what happens.
And it's the interest is to stay in peace. And it's so easy that the focus changes a little bit. And it's a huge gift, huge to have all these moments, these beautiful moments, and and to be recalibrated in a way, just which is actually very easy.
Yeah. The moment there's a sense of safety and like being seen and felt, then there's automatically a flow of information that just goes on nervous system to nervous system. We don't have to do anything for it. Thanks, Shapiro.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Hi. So we were playing with recontextualizing what the system was exploring. And I'm curious if there were any deeper scenes around that. And at this moment, how do you sense your nervous system? Is it free flowing? Is there some activation? Or difficult to answer that question. With no interest in answering that question. So to me, it feels like the system is trying to resource through me, Judith. And somehow it's not finding it. So I'm curious, what you notice is going on. And maybe my perception isn't accurate. At the moment, I'm not sure if you're even aware that I'm talking to you, Judith. It's like, you raised your hand, right? And then Yeah, you know, I see that you're still muted, Judith. It's like a little, I don't quite know where to go with this because I'm speaking to you and I'm not getting any answers. And yeah, so it's just like, okay, we're here. And it feels like your system's in some kind of a freeze, but you know, it's like, so I'd like to explore with you, but it doesn't seem like at this moment it's possible. No worries. Okay, so it seems like there's some confusion in the Sangha.
Whom do you mean?
I'm talking to Judith. Judith raised her hand, and then I've been sitting with Judith. It seemed like somehow most people didn't recognize what was happening. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go
Isaac,
back.
do you mean me?
Yes,
Noah?
you.
Oh,
Yes.
you mean me? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
It felt like I'm talking into space, and
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
it's a,
Oh my gosh. No, I thought you were,
miscommunication.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Because I raised my hand, but then I heard you calling another name. I didn't hear my name. So I thought, okay, Isaac is busy with somebody else.
Okay,
And
that's
then
what
you
the
spoke
confusion
with,
was.
yes, and then you spoke with Judith, and often there is another Judith. So I
Yeah,
didn't get
okay,
it,
so
that it was, that,
no problem. So that's
that it
why
was
for me it
me.
was like, wait, I'm talking to you, Judith, and you're not
No,
responding at all. So it's like, what? What's going
Oh.
on here?
And the strange thing is my own picture is on the right, totally
Okay.
down in the right. And you were looking somewhere in the middle. So I even had
Okay.
the feeling that you were watching me. So
No problem.
sorry
So
for
let's
this.
start. No problem. Let's start again then. Hi,
Yes,
Judith.
hi, Isaac. Good to see you. Oh, yeah. So I was touched by the exploration with feet about the plexus, and
Okay.
for me that's also a tension area, and I also feel a tension in the stomach. So I just like to rest.
Sure.
And, yeah.
With pleasure.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I didn't
It can
know you were
happen.
talking to me.
It seems like a lot of people didn't know who I was talking to.
Yeah.
But from my side, I was clear I was talking to you. Anyway, it happened.
Okay. Good.
Now I feel connection. It's like now I feel in,
Yeah.
like in connection. Before it was like, what's going on here? This is strange.
Yeah.
Anyway. You know, just, I mean, it's so amazing to me around the plexus, how much information and conditioning and there's
Wow.
been around belonging, you know, just, you know, what we had to, somehow what we had to do within our family dynamic to belong, at school to belong, and then just generally in our culture. So it's a lot of information.
Yes,
And on
it
many
is.
different layers there, and how our system has
It
compensated.
feels so as a really deep contraction, almost like a shock
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. And then, so then if you notice that, then it's like, is that, you know, is that picked up from your parents or from your ancestry or just,
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's hard to know exactly.
It's hard to know, really.
Yeah.
It feels like so old and so
Yeah.
as if it has always been there somehow. Yeah.
Mhm. And sometimes it can be useful just to look at you know, both our parents and then also the dynamic between the parents and to do with belonging and what kind of messages our system picked up from that.
I can recognize that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even both had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It seemed clearly, you know, like they did the best they could, and who knows how many generations that all goes back. But and then just to see definitely our system got impacted or conditioned by it, and starting
There's
to
a kind of
recognize what,
emotion coming now. You see
Oh,
the tears coming to the
yeah,
eyes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, last time we sat together, we were just reframing that, like, because your system was, you know, had come to the conclusion that it had to be by itself in order to, you know.
Yeah,
But
just
then,
not yet a conclusion, but
yeah,
with everything what is playing.
yeah. And then just seeing, is
And
it
more seeing
possible?
the fear, what brings that up.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an underlayer then from anxiety, I feel,
Yeah,
in the system. As if it doesn't has the trust that life takes care, but that it somehow is totally lost.
yeah. And yeah, actually, you know, in some ways, it's looking how to be in life with a sense of its own value, and in the sense of, you know, giving and receiving and being in flow. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, for me, you know, I've tried to language that as meeting this moment beautifully, you know, just like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even that, you know, it's like there's so many layers to that. You see.
Yeah.
As we rested, you have a sense your system is exploring and learning.
Yeah.
Oh, how beautiful. Yeah.
And there are many subtle layers here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Judith.
Thank you, Isaac.
Anya. Hi, Anya.
Hello, Isaac. It's this thing of wanting to belong and seen, and this attention. Can you hear me well?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. I was with this for a few days inside of me, and it helped me very much now when you said this to Feet about his mother, because it was suddenly like I could feel I'm just like his mother in that. This feeling of it's actually this wanting to be, yeah, also this solar plexus thing of belonging and wanting to be have attention. And I could see that again and again I'm kind of projecting this out, of course. And as soon as someone comes who actually has this capacity to give me a little sense of belonging and attention, then I hook it into this form, life form, into this man, for example. Generally, it is a man.
So just let's make a distinction, Anya. Is it you that does it, or is it an unconscious pattern in you that does that?
Yeah, right now I could really feel that it's something like an old information, actually, that's
cool. Yeah.
That was also in my mother, and it's not me, and I can see how it's happening and how it's like cutting me off from this huge vast space that is available every moment, and immediately it's kind of cutting me off from that and clinging it to one person. And this is so painful, and that's what happened a few days ago again, you know. And now it feels like I can feel it, where it comes from.
Far out.
Yeah.
Far out. Yeah.
And actually, it was so sweet just now to feel also that the healing starts when it's like I can give it to myself. There's no one else, actually. It can only happen inside of me, that this is being seen and belonging and meeting. It's in me, in this.
And so then it's a question of, is it you that gives it to yourself, or is it when old information stops being the filter that is being looked through?
Yeah.
You know, it's like just discerning that. Just again, it's just we're looking, we're here, and you know, again, if I had to speak it, if a child got secure attachment when they were young, their nervous system would just naturally have that information. But if they didn't get it, that could always be looking for it. Would be looking for belonging, and you know, like that. And so, you know, from a young organization, it would be then what do I have to do or be to get what I need. You know? So it would really be selling itself or giving itself away.
Yeah.
Completely innocently. Just it's like, because it is such a, you know, it's like, it's so primal, yeah, that yeah. So again, just to see it's nothing that you would do consciously. It would be coming from an unconscious Yeah.
I can really find that in myself, how I wanted to do everything to make it right so that I get a bit of belonging from my dad or belonging to anything.
Mhm.
Always trying to do and fix, like Yatrin was
And
saying, fixing.
and so then, you know, just to bring another layer into view, how did your dad's system respond to your mom when that pattern was running? Could you put words on that? How would his system have?
Yeah, it's like Feet said, it's also a retreat, but it's for him, it's like going into his independency, which he always had totally. This kind of, he was always sort of just busy with himself and being independent of anybody around him in that way.
At what price? What was the price that he paid for that?
He paid for it?
Yeah. What was the price he paid for that?
Paid for that.
Because that was an compensation or something like that.
In a way, I can see now that it was for him also not belonging, some kind of loneliness somehow. Also not belonging, not feeling loved, and
Yeah. So his system also instructed your system to be busy like that and to independent and all that stuff. And so
and that's what repeats now in relationship. I could kind of see everything in this relationships that I had.
So it could be giving mixed messages, like, oh, I really want to belong, and this busyness and doing, and like not really being available. So it would be confused signals. Yeah.
So it's like I'm like what acts out in my system, in this system when I relate, it's like my mom and my dad at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then just in this moment seeing, because you're seeing clearly those patterns now, and was there an emotion from your dad's side or an emotion from your mom's side related to that pattern?
Well, my mother was, you mean emotion, like my mother was kind of retreating in her own way and got really like kind of poisonous somehow outward.
Okay, so there was a poisonousness, yeah? And that also was instructing you, a certain poisonousness.
Yeah.
And how did your dad relate to the poisonousness? And
I kind of keep being busy enough not to feel it or something like that. Yeah,
so really cut off from his feelings.
Yeah, cut off from his feelings.
Yeah.
It's amazing how strong I can feel it all in my system right now. and I've been carrying it for a few days, and today I was feeling like I'm really curious what comes up in this meeting, because it felt like something's like, I don't know, it was almost like collectively vibrating. It was so strong, feeling all that at the same time, this whole, and projecting it still on a person, which to me felt like I was so cut off, because then this person, of course, was not available since I projected it. It's like, it's amazingly beautiful actually to see how it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then at the same time, just to recognize that those patterns, you could say, or mechanisms of playing, isn't who you are.
Yeah.
And that, it's great that they're revealing themselves, but, you don't have to, how can I say, your system grew up in that, and through that identified with it, then took some of it on, and then just seeing it's not necessary anymore, really just, you're free of it. You don't have to be. If you're not seeing it, of course, it would play out again and again and again unconsciously.
Yeah, and I can also feel it in my body, how strong it's scary. It's scary to see it, because then something changes. It's like it shifts while I see it, and then there's kind of a scariness in that, yeah, physically. But it's okay in a way also.
Yeah.
Very much okay. Mm. And I'm so glad, because it seems that then the whole story of this time, I mean, this ongoing story with this man, still my ex-partner, it has nothing to do with it at all. The story dissolves, and that makes me so free also.
Yeah.
It was just an opportunity to show me all this. It is always just now an opportunity to knock and something opens. Yeah.
And then just to see that idea that you have to give it to yourself, that's just another idea on top, you know, like it puts a pressure.
I can see that now. Yeah.
Yeah, that puts a pressure on it in a way. It's because it's there's no doing necessary in a sense, you know, just
Just there's only the seeing, actually.
yeah, just to see, just letting it come into awareness. Yeah.
And in the seeing, there is actually this belonging. I mean, there is a belonging anyway.
Yeah.
It's there.
That's why I said it's not something you have to give yourself or anything, because that just again makes it seem like there's something wrong that you need to do something about. Yeah.
There's something missing then if I look at it like that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Big relief what happened in the last 20 minutes.
I'm glad to hear.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Nilma, and then Gerhard. Gerhard,
Hi.
still...
Hello.
Can you just wave a hand so I can see him? Oh, now I see you. Oh dear. Hi, Gerhard.
Hello. So many touches. Everybody. It's funny because I had this idea to come in and ask you. I've been really looking at so much is showing. I'm seeing so much.
Fantastic.
And it's and everyone's conversation was rich, but the last one, the way you unpacked it, was very relevant to the identification and this system of the sufferer and the pity, and just looking at the mother and father and everything. And I was going to come in and say, I really can't get this this idea of myself, can't get everything is happening in me. I know I've heard that from you so many times, but it feels like this is what's showing right now. And that habit of pressure, this system has been, those unmet needs got translated in getting them met in very unhealthy ways.
For most of us.
Yeah, very. And
I'd say it's the basis of every addiction.
Yeah. And it's seen, but there's always been this little voice that says, but you consciously picked up the phone and said that and caused that to happen. There's a real sabotage aspect showing of how it was conscious therefore everything that there's this knowing that it is unconscious, automatic.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, but to really hold that strongly.
So there's been a habit to blame yourself and shame yourself and guilt yourself.
Massive,
Okay. Yeah,
massive.
So that was all predicated on the idea that there was a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the scene, that it was unconscious.
Yeah.
That you weren't the doer of it.
It's a hard one to. No, it's not.
Taking your time and seeing. Look, if it was up to you, would you have done that?
No, because the outcome is not worth the desire to go for it.
Exactly, because it's terrible. It's actually, it's terrible. It plays in a way that completely wrecks aliveness, wrecks.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally.
So there's no way that anybody would do that consciously.
No.
But yet when it happens, and there's blame, shame, and guilt, it personalizes and it really feels like it has something to do with you.
Yeah, and there's a wanting to get rid of this one playing out physically, and watching it is very painful, very painful. But there's something that knows, there's something deeper that knows. And then there's the I that thinks it knows. And
so there's layers.
Layers, so many layers.
Yeah, so cool. We're just taking time to unravel it, unwind it, untangle it. And there comes a breath.
And being here with you, I touch into, which I haven't for so long, the playful innocence. Oh, yeah. Which I really, really miss, the playful. And it's here, and so grateful for,
So this programming, this conditioning, to put pressure on. And this putting pressure was related to getting needs met. It was innocent. And all the ways that, it tried that were painful.
And it never gives up trying.
All innocent, just all innocent. And somewhere that conditioning happened, who knows? Mother,
Actually, the
father.
the trying is slowly loosening its grip, slowly.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Thanks to the space that's been offered here. Oh, my first encounter group I ever did in the 70s was with a thing called The Inward Adventure, and I've never forgotten this one line. And this guy who used to run these encounter groups said, the mind will destroy the body to prove itself right.
Yeah. So just at this moment, sense in your body what's happening, because there's
a shaking.
There's shaking, and so there's releasing happening, Gail. Just be present to that releasing, gently, just noticing it's happening. With no effort, no doing.
It's all held in the upper chest.
Mm.
Yeah. And the throat.
And even to say it's held there, with sensations there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know if we need to context it that it's held. It's just like the sensations there and something's unwinding itself. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Just feeling what's happening. Just by resting here.
So much love.
Yeah, beautiful. And at this moment, are your needs getting met?
Absolutely.
Cool.
A very small one here as well.
So beautiful. You know, we get to explore like this and
Oh,
yeah, just hold each other's hands in this exploration.
nothing else is important. Nothing.
Exquisite. Thanks, Gerhard.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, beloveds, for being here. Thanks, Bas, for hosting. Sorry to the people that didn't get a turn, but next time if you show up. Love, peace, beauty. Yeah.